Kia ora e hoa mā, ka nui te mihi, kia koutou katoa e mā takitaki mai nei tēnei wā. Hope everybody's well and your year has got off to a good start. I'd like to make this video to reflect on some of my observations coming back to New Zealand after 3 years away working overseas, in Southeast Asia in particular, and just sort of comment on some of the things. Traveling around for the last, what has it been, just over a month, has been a really good experience, eye-opening experience. I tell you what, I'll start my video with this point. Showing someone who hasn't been to your country before, as a host, if you're tour guiding / hosting, you see things in a different way. You see things that you would have probably overlooked your whole life, and when you're showing it to someone new. So that's been a really interesting experience. But I'm going to talk about just a range of things I've noticed that are quite different to Southeast Asia. There are no order of importance or significance, just I haven't even scripted anything, just randomly putting it out there. But anyway, I'll just dive right in. First thing you notice, I noticed, is space. Like it's well known that New Zealand has a relatively low population for our geographical size. Just 5.5 million people in a country the same size roughly as Japan or Vietnam, which have hundreds of millions. So you do notice that. You notice that there are big spaces between people. Of course we have cities and towns and some sort of congestion here and there, but it's super noticeable when you travel around that there's like lots of space. And that of course has the connected things that you associate with space: peace and quiet, relative ease on the roads, etc. And just privacy too. Privacy, like you get a lot of personal space in your daily life, and in travel, and even in supermarkets and wandering around the streets and stuff. Like you get a lot of space, and that's pretty cool. Something you don't experience so much in Southeast Asia unless you get out, really get out of the way. Another thing I notice is the quality of the roads and just general services, but I can focus on the roads. Coming from Timor-Leste with famously bad roads, you do notice that the roads are really good here in New Zealand. That said, I'm here in Northland at the moment, beautiful Northland, which I'm most proud of and from, but for New Zealand standards, the roads here are pretty poor. But for standards compared to developing countries, they're great. The worst roads in Northland are like the best roads in Timor-Leste. None even better than the best roads in Timor-Leste. So you notice that, and that again, there's things that connect to all of these simple things. Ease of travel. I can enjoy driving here. I enjoy driving. Like when you're driving on a nice road on a nice day with nice view, sunshine. There's nothing better. It's awesome. So I get to enjoy that. One thing I noticed too, this one's not so pretty, and it's something taken some adjustment to, still adjusting to be honest, is this one's diving off into a different topic. Things are really expensive here. Like, I get it, the currency transfer, it's a different currency, different economy, but even with that taken into account, even taking that into account, things are still really expensive, and you sort of like balk at a lot of things for the first while. Especially even just in supermarkets and just the cost of things, it's astronomical. So coming back to New Zealand, it's a bit of a shell shock, to be honest. I feel for people that are on low salaries, low wages, big families, struggling. It must be tough, just must be really tough. But anyway, it's really expensive here in comparison. It's not so nice. People are different, obviously. That's a no-brainer. Like, just different cultures and different mixes, but also like I guess it's connected to more individualistic Western culture. Like, people are just more individualistic. Like, nobody cares what you're doing or how you dress or whatever here in New Zealand. As long as you're not looking offensive or wearing something offensive, people just go about their business. They don't care. They don't stare. It's summertime here in New Zealand right now, so like people are at the beaches, and admittedly, people dress a lot more casually, revealingly than in Asia. Asia's a lot more conservative culturally. Well, Timor-Leste is a bit different because Timor-Leste is relatively free and open, but not compared to New Zealand. And So yeah, here it's normal, at the beaches, women in bikinis, men in, topless and that. Just, wow, you'd expect that at the beaches, of course, but yeah, it's a lot more free and open to look, dress, be how you want. Nobody's going to pay particular attention. Yeah, and that's a positive. I mean, depends. It's all perspective, right? I mean, some people might see that as a negative. People are too free, maybe, but I personally, it's not really about tolerance or acceptance. More just that people just mind their own business in general. So there's that. The cleanliness of the place. Oh, I got a bit of a frog in my throat. Excuse me. Have this cup of tea might help. Yeah, that should be better. Where was I? Yeah, the cleanliness. Like in Southeast Asia, in particular parts are worse than others, but they're developing, and the mindset and education is growing, so it's getting better. But people in general in New Zealand are pretty good. Like, be a tidy Kiwi. I mean, if there are people, of course, who do throw their rubbish and that, it's not perfect, but by and large, people are considerate of the environment and each other and other people's space, and that's really nice. That's refreshing. In Timor-Leste, there was a lot of rubbish everywhere. That said, it's not just people's fault. Facilities in those countries are less accessible and sometimes just not available or not there. So in New Zealand, we've got lots of facilities to deal with these things, and that's a plus. It's really good. I've noticed that. People in general, I mean, to say people are friendly people are friendly everywhere. I've not found it. I've never been to a country where I'd say the people aren't friendly. But New Zealanders are pretty friendly. But this one's not related to friendliness at all. I'm sort of darting all over the place. But this one, before I forget, I've never in Southeast Asia, and maybe in Asia in general, I can't say, but because there's so many people and labor is relatively cheap, there are lots and lots of staff everywhere in different businesses. So in Asia, you'll never pump your own gas or check your own groceries at a self-service. They won't even have it. They don't have it self-service in a supermarket. There's always, in Timor, there's almost too many staff. Sometimes you walk into a store and you're the only customer and there's 10 staff members staring at you. That's overkill. But in general, yeah, there's people serving you and everything. So that's in New Zealand, since I've been back, lots of self-service at the supermarkets. Pump your own gas, go inside and pay for it, and then go outside and pump it yourself. That would just, in Asia, you just roll up to the petrol pump and put your window down, and someone's right there to ask you how much you want and take the money, bring the change. So it's just really different. And that, I don't know, I like it really. I mean, I can't say I don't like it, although I do like the idea too that people serve you and customer service is involved. So it's sort of, it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. What else can I say? Yeah, it's those are just some of the big ticket items, you might say, but it's really nice to be back in New Zealand, observing the changes, taking Ajahn around, and like I said at the beginning of the video, showing someone your backyard that's never been there is a different experience. Like it's quite an eye-opening experience, and you see some things that you like and some things you don't, that you wouldn't have noticed or taken note of before. So yeah, we're on the road at the moment. We're chilling out here in lovely Warkworth, or near Warkworth. What is it called? Kaipara Flats, and we're really enjoying the downtime. But we hit the road again on Friday down to Rotorua, and then on to make our way to Wellington and over to the South Island next week. So yeah, probably going to witness a lot of other different, not changes, but just things that I'm noticing about New Zealand that are different than where I've come from for the last few years. Anyway, yeah, if you're from one place and lived in another and come back, if you've got any sort of similar experience or comments, I'll be interested to read them, especially people who have spent time outside of their home country, come back and observe things that they might not have noticed. Okay, sure, have a great day.